Hey there guys, welcome to our third lecture video on cells. I know this says cells 2 right there, but we're going to make that a 3 real quick. What we're going to be learning about today is we're going to be going into the two main different types of cells. And hopefully by the time that you finish this lesson, you understand the importance of what a nucleus is and what it means for our cell types. So I quickly wanted to go into a recap. This is going over cells 1 and cells 2 right here. So remember, cells are the smallest living unit. You guys should have seen this so many times by now that you can almost fill this in without even watching me do it, right? And all living things are made up of cells. And we talked about how that's animals, that's plants, that's bacteria, right? Anything, right? Anything that can metabolize food and grow, right? That's what we kind of defined as what a living thing is. And remember, there are three components that all cells, all types of cells have, no matter what actual cell they are. And we said the first one was a cell membrane. We said the second one was cytoplasm. And we said the third one, or at least one organelle, if not more. Okay? And so really quickly going over these, right? It is the cell membrane that separates the inside of the cell, right, from the outside environment, right, acts as a wall with doors, right, because it does let certain things in, okay? Up here, these two things that we're going to be talking about right here, these have to do with the cytoplasm, okay? And remember, that's a gel-like substance, right? Kind of like Jello, that the internal parts of the cell are suspended in. And if you guys remember, the word suspended means floats. Okay? And it's where the majority of all chemical reactions occur. So the cytoplasm is very important. Right? All of those enzymatic reactions that we had just talked about, whether they were exergonic or endergonic, they're occurring in the cytoplasm of the cell where lots of these materials are. And then right down here, to kind of finish this off, we'll use purple, why not? So this is talking about organelles here. All right? And remember, an organelle is we want to think of it as a machine, right? Within a cell that has a specific function. Okay? And if we think of a cell as a factory, we can think of an organelle as a specialized machine. Okay? So hopefully that all makes sense to you. You guys should remember the majority of that. And today we're going to be getting into cell size. So what I want you guys to look at here, and I'm not sure how it looks in black and white on your slides, is take a look here. So in the bottom right, I circled unaided human eye. So everything within this range you could see just using your eye. All right, and so they show a chicken egg right here. Okay, and you guys know you can see an egg just using your eyes. And as we start going down this way, the size of things gets smaller and smaller. So we see that the next thing that we're looking at here is a typical eukaryotic cell We're going to go into what that means in a minute. And you can see how small this is, right? And if you keep going down, you can see there's a mitochondria, which is an organelle. And if you go further down, you can see that we have DNA being the smallest thing on the spectrum. All right? So why am I showing you this? Because I want you to understand that cells are really, really small. All right? And they come in many different shapes and sizes. There's no one exact size or shape of a cell, right? There's a general size, but they're not all exact clones of one another. So we're unable to just see cells only using our eyes. And in fact, what we have to use are microscopes. And hopefully in the next few weeks, our microscope supplies here will actually come in. And you guys are going to be able to look at some different types of cells under these microscopes and really explore what the cells inside your body look like. And that's really cool. So there are two main cell types, and the way that we define these cell types is based on whether or not they have an organelle that we call a nucleus. A nucleus. Now you guys have probably heard of this term before, and that's because the nucleus is really important. It's where the cell stores its genetic material. And if you guys remember from learning about nucleic acids, genetic material is known as DNA, right? It's made of those A, G, C's, and T's that we talked about a few weeks ago. So the nucleus is really important. And if you look at this great photo we have here, right, we can see the DNA and we can see the cell, right? The cell is everything. Oh, that doesn't show up very well, does it? The cell is this entire red structure in this photo, okay? And the nucleus, right, we have as the purple structure in the middle. And if you notice, right, we have the DNA, and you can see that the DNA is right inside of the nucleus there, okay? So the nucleus is a very important organelle in cells that have it. Remember, not all cells have a nucleus, okay? And this is how we differentiate these two cell types. So the nucleus may control many of the cell's activities. Okay, I'm going to rewrite that for you in a different color because that didn't come out the best. All right, and it's known as the brain of the cell. Okay, but our first cell type does not contain a nucleus. Okay, in this type of cell, we call a prokaryotic cell. Okay, cells that do contain a nucleus, right, and they store their DNA there, these are known as eukaryotic cells. All right, and so right here, these are our two cell types: prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. The first one we're going to go into are prokaryotic cells. All right, and this term prokaryotes are organisms composed of prokaryotic cells. Okay, so anything that's called a prokaryote, it is an organism composed of a prokaryotic cell. All right, and generally speaking, prokaryotes equal bacteria. And this is because most prokaryotes single-celled organisms. Think about yourself, right? You are made up of many, 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 many cells. Bacteria are one cell. Okay, bacteria are not made up of anything more than just one cell. That's it. That's why they're prokaryotic, okay? They're made up of this one cell that doesn't contain a nucleus. All right? Now, this doesn't mean that they're dead, right? Bacteria are still a cell. This means, right, effectually that they're still alive, right? They're able to grow, reproduce, and they can even glide across surfaces or swim in water. And if you look here to the right, this is what a typical prokaryotic cell looks like. That's what a prokaryotic cell looks like. And what you'll notice is that the DNA is the blue stuff that you see all throughout the cell. This is the DNA right there, okay? Right there we see all the DNA. And notice that it's not in a nucleus, right? It's just spread throughout this cell. And you'll also notice that it has this cool little tail structure going on there. That's what helps it swim through water and glide across surfaces. All right? And so the main difference is, this is the big takeaway here, right? Prokaryotic cells are generally simple. Okay? You'll notice here, right? All you see is some DNA and you see a cell membrane, right? There's not too much going on. Prokaryotic cells are smaller than eukaryotic cells. And that's generally speaking as well, okay? We'll write that up here. All right. And lastly, this is the most important factor, right? Prokaryotic cells lack a nucleus, which is something you guys should all know about at this point. Awesome. So prokaryotes, big takeaway, right? They're single-celled, they're generally bacteria, they're much smaller than eukaryotic cells, they're simpler than eukaryotic cells, and they don't have a nucleus. That's the main takeaway. All right? Eukaryotes, on the other hand, right? When we say eukaryotes are, oops, sorry there. These are, it's not going to work, is it? Organisms composed of eukaryotic cells. All right? We are eukaryotes, all right? As human beings, that's what we are. We are composed of eukaryotic cells, okay? And eukaryotics generally are multicellular. Oops. Multicellular organisms. Okay? And again, think about ourselves. Think about humans, right? We're made up of billions of cells, okay? And if we weren't made up of so many cells, we couldn't be us, right? We need skin cells. We need brain cells, right? We need eye cells. You need cells for all your different organs, right? Like your heart and your liver and your stomach. If we didn't have all these different cells, we literally couldn't do the things that we need to do. And so examples of eukaryotes include plants, animals, and all different types of funguses, all right? They're called fungi, all right? Big takeaway, Right here, eukaryotes contain a nucleus. All right, that is definitely something that you guys need to be getting from this lecture. And again, if you look here on the right, you can see that we have that big purple nucleus right there. That's right in the middle of the cell, and that's where the DNA is. All right. Okay. And then very lastly, eukaryotic cells are very complex and they contain a nucleus, right? They're very complex and large sometimes, right? They contain many, many things. And if you look in here, you'll see that we have a nucleus. You'll see that we have some of these other organelles going on, like mitochondria. We have some endoplasmic reticulum, right? You've got your Golgi apparatus. There's all different kinds of stuff going on here that make a eukaryotic cell so complex. Okay? So that's it for today's lecture. I really hope you guys are enjoying this cell stuff. I know it's a lot coming at you, but I think it's actually cool to understand what is going on inside of these things that are right in us. So I want you guys to complete the exit ticket I put together, and I really hope you enjoyed what we did.